Hello. One of the things that anyone that's involved with a narcissistic person has in common is that we are all just somewhere in their cycle. All of us. Anybody. All of us. You could be the wife of 30 years to the narcissist, but you are somebody in a part of his cycle. You represent to him, you're holding it down for 30 years. The narcissist is still bestowing their behavior upon this woman. She's the the base to him out of which he can run his operation. And you might say, well, God, that's heavy. 30 years of it. Now, you could be a girlfriend to a narcissist, so there's your place on his wheel of behavior. You could be the girlfriend, and guess what? He could be married to the lady we just talked to in the example, married 30 years. It could be his husband. And he could have another girlfriend on the side. Aside from you think you're the only one? You could be a girlfriend and he's not married. It's another part in the cycle, because guess what? There was a girlfriend before you, and there will be a girlfriend after you. We're supply. Now, I'm not saying that a husband can't revere his wife of 30 years and be appreciative that she's given him this life and this family. God, I hope there's some kind of positive feelings there at least, and some respect, I would hope at least. But the deplorable behavior is going on, whether the wife says so or not. She probably knows it. So where would you like to be in the cycle? I've been new supply, and now I'm X supply. Right? Because when he met me, I was new supply to somebody else. I didn't know it at the time. His ex-girlfriend, I thought, lived in a different state, which she did. But he carried on texting her, and I love you, and all this business right up through the time I broke up with him. Oh, well, I had to get such and such from her. She had my such and such, so I was just being nice. Oh, okay. So I was new supply to that poor woman. This is why I say don't hate the new supply. I was new supply. You are. At some point, unless you're the 30-year wife. I wouldn't call you new supply if you're the 30-year wife. But the rest of us are supply, and at some point, we're new. And then at some point now, I'm an ex-supply. Guess what? He was still bothering me the whole time he's been with that girl. Around the same amount of I feel so bad for that girl. And I felt so bad for the first girl before me, because he was trying to tell her there was no me. You literally just fall on their cycle at the stage that it's your turn. Your turn will come to be the old supply. Your turn will come to be the ex supply, the new supply. When you're dealing with a narcissist, they have everybody on a cycle, in rotation, constantly. Nothing ever ceases. Nothing's ever quiet. Nothing's ever status quo. They're chasing. So that guy, my guy, was trying to keep the old supply charmed, which is what she would be considered now. He's trying to court the new supply while still trying to cultivate more new supply. I broke up with him, landed with a new supply, still trying to contact me, now I'm old supply, and still trying to play and get other new supply. Oh, my, can you, at 63 years old, can you imagine? and that is the most pathetic existence I can imagine. But it does translate to us, the victims, as we are all just somewhere in their cycle. It's a pattern of behavior. And the names change and your slot changes, right? So last season, I was first supply. This season, I'm X supply. Next season, you might be X supply. Right now, you might be the A-list actor of this series. They shift through people. And you might say, well, I know people that, he was with somebody for 10 years. Was he? And how did he treat them? I'm not saying they can't last. I think they prefer to have a base of operation. Of course they do. The wife presents them in this socially grown capacity. They can do the neighbor thing and the barbecue thing, and these are the kids, and this is the house, and everything's copacetic. And they can appear normal. And then they act like a fool when the neighbors aren't looking. Or maybe act like a fool with the neighbors. These people don't not act out their dysfunction. They have to go get what they are chasing. And it's not just, sex. They chase money. They chase a business deal. They chase admiration. They chase friends. They chase all kinds of things. Substance abuse they chase. They're never happy. They're always suffering. So you're chasing. That's what Buddhism does. You'll always suffer. When you're not happy where you sit presently, you will always suffer. And that's the narcissist's entire existence. They are not happy where they sit in the present, and therefore they're always chasing, and therefore they're never satisfied, and therefore their thirst is never quenched, and therefore they will perpetually suffer. It's their state of being forever that they will suffer. In the meantime, they're going to play with their cycle. So it was almost like I was on the way out, he had been grooming, and then I saw it click in. I'm a visual learner, so I made myself a little circle and wrote, love bombing, devaluing, gaslighting, triangulation, cheating, fighting, makeup, breakup. And I watched another click right in, and I pictured them in gears. And I'm like, the names change. Renee's name became this one, but Renee's name was this before. I mean, it was like a shift, and I was astonished. And I've never forgotten that. We are all just somewhere on their little gear shift. And where you want to jump off, if you want to jump off, or where you want to land is up to you. But pay proper mind to that. You were new supply to somebody else once. And you're going to be X supply, and he might be trying to contact you, and he's with somebody else now. Don't hate her. She's the new supply. You were her. You were new supply. You didn't want Diane to hate you. You were innocent. You were loving this person. You didn't know or think you had taken them from this person. Unless you did. Different video. But you know what I mean? This supply has no idea you exist, probably. And if he's contacting you, they certainly have no idea he's doing that. I'm X supply now. I think he considers me unavailable X supply. I think that he's by now developed more bench warmers that can feed him at this point. I think I'm safe from... They say they never stop contacting you, that there'll always be a day that they try. I think I'm safe from really having any conversation happen at this point. Which is a glorious realization for me. I don't have anything to say. I've accepted that I was just on a place on his cycle. And that's hurtful. Because you want to think that you meant something to them. You want to think that you are more important. You want to believe the things that he told you. But when I started realizing that he told me the same things that he told the new person, that he told the other person, I realized, wow, I guess he's really developed some good words and some good phrases to say to people. Those are pretty powerful things you chose to say to people. That's how I started to view it. Rather than, oh my God, but he told me this, but he told me that, I thought, wow, you know what? That's not bad. You came up with some good things. And that's when I realized, oh my God, of course he's going to say them to the new person. I'm not here anymore. Why couldn't he use it again? It works. The stuff he said works. He keeps landing people with it. So of course they're going to put it, he might even come up with new stuff. Who knows? And it's hurtful and I'm sorry. But it is just a cycle for them. And where you are in it, I hope you take pity on the person that's before you and after you. Because they have gone through exactly whatever stage you're in. The person before you that you hate, you think you hate. The person after you that you think you hate. They're going to experience every single thing, or have already, that the person before you is a step ahead of you and the person after you is a step behind you. But it is a gear shift, and you will all experience every pocket of it unless you jump off. Nobody's saved from any particular part of the cycle. He doesn't suddenly grow up, or she doesn't suddenly get mature and say, oh yeah, this is the one. Even if you see them get married, that doesn't mean, oh yeah, no, everything's fine. No. They just found someone that they convinced to be their new base of operation, out of which they will continue their whole scene. It doesn't mean, they might be good for a minute and show good pictures and aren't they happy? Just wait. I don't mean literally wait. Don't let them have their life. That wife is now part of the cycle. They don't change. So her part of the cycle might be holding down the fort, providing him a steady home so he can take his trips and do his things and call it business. Yeah, okay. I love when they call everything business. And she'll be trusting. And it'll be heartbreaking knowing what's happening to her. Heartbreaking. I'd rather know and be heartbroken and be free of it than be in it and not know and have heartbreaking things happening to me behind my back. So if that happens, I hope she finds out. If somebody lands there married to a narcissist, I hope it reveals itself soon and she gets out. Unfortunately, when it comes to the cycle of a narcissist, they have a pattern of behavior they do to everybody. You found yourself inside the web of one. Everyone that's been with them, they all experience it. So we should all have more empathy and sympathy for the people that are going through it before us and after us. I know I feel bad for both people. Because he was talking to me I feel awful for both of them. So anyway, we're just somewhere in the cycle. Let's all support each other, because no matter where you're in it, it's a terrible spot. There are no good spots to the cycle.